Hello and welcome to my 6th part of Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. And the last episode we spent a lot of time in the part of Kowloon named Hawaii, and we were running around doing some little bit errands and talking about what happened to our foster father. Today we'll go into the first of the Shadowlands quests, namely into the Whampoa Garden, to find out who is killing or attacking the elders of Whampoa. So let's go and enjoy the stream. Outsider. Whampoa Garden, a carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifice one can imagine. The entire area has the feel of a night market, save the chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns and vendors hog the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Whampoan elders, the leaders of the band of the tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Whampoan you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. While the killer has struck only at the elders thus far, it may only be a matter of time before ordinary residents are menaced as well. I think I have everything I need. Objective edit, meet with the Whampoan elders. The streets of Whampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks the sticky orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with other raddest scents: ozone, engine oil and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of the street vendors and touts, urging people into their stores. Gobbet stretches her arms out, turning in a circle. Welcome to the wonderful world of Whampoa. Seriously, that's what they call the boat, mall, whatever. Well, that's a hell of a unique gimmick. Say what you will about it, at least you'll never forget it. At least you'll never forget it. That's gonna count for something, right? A small typo. When the economy tanked after the crash of 29, the techno-fetishist tribe started squatting in it. They've been here ever since. Now you're standing around here in the rain, then. Come on, let's go see what the elders have to say. Here is the way to Whampoa. Let's check a little bit around here first, just in case. You better find some place indoors to sleep. Jan, the streets are dangerous lately. Well, looks like nothing is happening here, so let's go to Whampoa. I heard he's not just dead, he's been all cut up. The elders don't want anyone go inside without their permission. It must be pretty bad in there. Okay, let's talk to him before doing anything. Eldern RNG. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, I'm sorry for that. This orc woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny thread screens and speakers. The thread screens display snippets of thread broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a source of voice speaking Sperthiel, Punjabi, Kazakh and other languages. Her expressions are haggard and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Welcome to the Whampoa, my friend. I am Eldern and these are Elderstank and Ip. Gestures to the elf and a human who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to run. As long as you can pay, I can help. And the tank's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noticed when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He has the bearing of someone who could handle it himself in a fight. I'm certain you have some questions. Ask and we'll do our best to tell you what we know. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was gone. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. Swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He had been torn apart. His head had been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood it took us a week to clean out his apartment. Tongue knots, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same, always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare. And every time, nobody has seen anything. It's like a ghost. What happened to Tonk? The same thing that happened to the rest of the victims. Evisceration and dismemberment. We sent a guard to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He'd locked up his shop, but Ip stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked, and inside, lived her hands helplessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Seeing inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. And had to have happened after sundown, because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and riots, handle their metric security, fix up their gear, and make sure they have access to the Hong Kong Shadowrun's hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target. They handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the metrics. The last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the threat. They got the picture and backed off. Have you made any enemies lately? Gus shrugs helplessly. Not that I think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We are not mercenaries or criminals. We are merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery, it's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. What do the Wampuan elders do? I am the invoker of sprites. I commune with the spirits of machines, ask them for blessings and pass those blessings onto the people here. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitats is as good as it can be, given our confines. Tank extends his arms, palms up, as you watch the tattoos derine shift into a complex mathematical formula. I am the first and glorious servo. I study patterns, repair machinery, and teach others how to attune themselves to the wonder of automation. The blessed Autofab is my shop and purview, where we make the drones we use and sell. Really? What a fascinating and spiritual spin on things. Rector inclines his head towards Tank. I'd be interested in hearing more about your philosophy once we're done with the job. I think I may find your perspective to be very interesting. As for me, I serve as a resplendent voltage spike. Ip smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for a head of security. That's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Whampoa Garden if they've seen or heard anything. After we've gone to Tong's Sensory Carnival, they may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. Meet with the Whampoan Elders. Objective complete, objective added. Investigate Tong's Sensory Carnival and search for the killer in Whampoa Garden. Let's search a little bit here first. Looks like nothing here. Tong's Sensory Carnival, and let's run a little bit around again to find if some people have to say something. looks like the only place to go is again the Tonks Carnival. So let's go there. Portal Lamb, at your service. The elders told me that you would be coming. They tell you about what happened to Tonk? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about this. I've seen people not shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I've seen a corpse that was so dry and desiccated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything to this. Brace yourself and go on in. Let's go. Tonk's Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover up the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the wrecked remnants of Tangatong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you are about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tonk's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and ceiling as well. Tonk's body. Tonk's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what is left of his body would be best described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Wampuan Elder. The Wampuan's clothing has all but been reduced to rags and tissue by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Gobbet puts a hand over her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heaven, Memo. I haven't seen anything like that since Auntie Wong tried to stash some credit sticks in a devil's rat's nets. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we sure have a winner today. This is seriously messed up. I'll second that. This isn't a murder. This is more like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it weren't for the skin, I'd say Tonk stepped on a goddamn mine or something. Let's have Rector first. Have Rector examine the body in detail. Rector takes his time examining the body, taking small notes on his PDA. Curious, no subdermal bruising where the skin's been removed, no sign of a struggle. Coagulation of blood and lividity marks the time of death between 2 and 4 hours ago. The knife marks are methodical. The killer doesn't seem to have been interested in preserving the skin as any kind of a whole. It was removed a bit like one fillets a fish. The path of least resistance. Some of the strips of skin have a more ragged edge than others. The ragged edge looks consistent with a claw rather than a blade. Rector makes a curious noise as he examines the remnants of Tonk's face and the neck. His neck's been severed between the fifth and sixth cervical vertebrae. Scoring across the bone indicates a bladed weapon, and a sharp one at that. Doesn't match any of their other wounds. Rector stands and looks you directly in the eye. If I had to guess, I'd say he was killed with a blow to the back of the neck. Everything else was subsequent damage. Why would someone kill him and then skin him? Honestly, I have no idea. Perhaps whatever did the rest of the damage was secondary, an action of opportunity or the like. Without further information, I am not comfortable guessing. How Gobbet ascends the body. You're the boss, man. This is gonna be unpleasant. Gobbet closes her eyes, taking a deep breath. After a moment, she opens them again and makes a strange grunting noise. There's no fear here, Memu. No anger either. Just this kind of satisfied feeling. Tonk never saw it coming, and whoever did it was professional about it. Which is pretty odd, because nobody's professional about eviscerating a body, as far as I know. You mean the murder wasn't some kind of animal attack? I don't know why the killer was after Tonk, but it definitely wasn't any kind of mindless creature, or even someone particularly passionate. It was somebody who planned this and executed it, and was glad about it. I don't know, it kind of feels like it was just business as usual. Leave alone the body. Objective complete. Investigate Tonk's sensory carnival. Let's see bloody wall. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which has hardened into crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey Memu, I don't know a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Someone deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? That's because somebody used Tonk's parts like a brush. So they painted his walls with blood. Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that sees their murder as art. I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Hey, you think that's strange? You ought to see the kinda sims that are coming out of Kolkata these days. They took that polypo tech and then collapsed all the carrier signals into one PO. You're like 4 people at once, and the underground geeks do blank jobs. You know, where they kill one of the POs. Sick stuff. Let's see what's behind the doors. First bathroom. Tonk's bathroom is immaculate and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. Desk safe. Tonk's desk drawers are open and the safe that's built into one side has been opened. There is no sign of tampering and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank red sticks, but no sign of any with money on them. Looks like someone looted his stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty red sticks in his safe. And Simpsons editor. This is a Yamaha 95,000V SimSynth device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty and all of the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning: requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Decking 3. Debug the system. Banging away at the SimSynth keyboard, you manage to suspend the drive error warning for a time. Digging into the guts of the machine's recent files, you manage to kick it into diagnostics mode. While it's not as good as having access to the full system, maybe you can learn something anyway. Yamaha SimOS 5.23 System Diagnostics checked. Memory OK, drive error, assist bus OK. Beginning core dump, please wait. The long debug spew that scrolls along the synth screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play length, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning. The required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave output for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for the high peak BTLs indicates all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody's cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. Okay, that's it. So let's talk to the guys around here. Porter Lamb. Hi there, need something else? It looks like somebody went through Tong's things. Has anyone else been inside? No, since I've been here, but before Ip found him? Could have been anybody, really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Anybody half-decent at cracking maglocks could have gotten inside. What's missing? His BTLs, hard drives, and crate sticks are all missing. Sounds like the killer looted this place to me. All this talk of monsters. Yeah, sure, there are scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. What do you do around here, Porter? It's a catch-all category, I guess. I work for Elder Ip. It's a bit like being a deputy. I make sure people don't break the rules. Protect people who need protecting. Mostly, I just do whatever Ip asks me to. It's a pretty quiet job most days. Today's not one of those days. I also handle a lot of maintenance. I don't actually do the repairs, but I got most of the keys. It makes it easy to ensure only authorized people get into sensitive places. Electricity goes down, I let in the electrician who fixes the wiring. Toilet's clogged, I let in the drone guy who opens it back up. See you later. Okay, no one here. So let's talk to Zippy. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. Hey, stranger, nice to see you. Zippy Totek at your service. How are you liking Wapo Garden? I'm Mamo. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid, neon-lit street of Wampua Garden. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gen and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So, since I don't know you, and I can smell Shadowrunner a mile away, you got to be the outsider that they asked to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Nothing gets by you, does it? See, I have good eyes, a lot of good eyes actually, if you're in the market for replacements. Only slightly used, and they only come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty bellow laughs erupts from the orc, and he slips one of his tights in elation. Man, I kill myself. Pretty funny, you a stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other ones healthy. Got a practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyberdoc, but he's basically an implant specialist and that's it. You don't seem much like a doctor to me. I did my residency back in the UCAS, could become a real MD too, if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pets it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than I see. Wampua Garden seemed a good fit for me. You must have a lot of customers. That's the cheap truth. I have to charge to cover my costs and eat, but it's damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good. Honest work. I like keeping my neighbors and the community. We all look out for each other. Somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many places have anatos like us? Not the damn cops, that's for sure. I've lived a lot of places, done my fair share of shadowrunning. But this place is special. It's been a long time since I really felt like anywhere was a real home. Zippy looks off past you, towards the Wampua Garden Street. His expression grows wistful, like he's remembering something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. So, is it fairly peaceful around here? For the most part. Other than these killings, we don't have much by way of problems. We do information security for the triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them, and the Matrix, while our triad friends hit them in mid-space. Some small-time gangs have tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tank and his guys, but with both the Red Dragon and the Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick. What was left of them anyway? Let me ask you about Wampua Garden. Sure thing, what do you want to know? What are your thoughts on the murders? There is a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gen died from a broken neck, looked like someone had wrenched it around, and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at the attuned. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. There didn't seem much point, since I'd seen it twice already. As for tongue, from what Porter told me, it was Gan and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at him yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described for the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I like tongue. BTL business is unsavory, but the man had to eat. And his regular sims were great. Generally, all around nice guy. Friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell ya. What can you tell me about the elders? Zippy lost, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? Gus, the spiritual leader here, she is the voice of the Wampuans. I guess a lot of the close friends are really more of followers, since she's something of a priest for machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Hips the muscle, and has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get out of cyber, people start wondering if you'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3 The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fight choreography. What about Hank? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him queuing over some threads of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with the drones, has a shop called Blast Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement patterns or something. You already know about Tank. Ran Sims, BTL skill chips. Ken used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment, treat mostly. Spent a lot of time analyzing subliminals in ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker, hot as hell against IC, and built her own hardware. Salty old woman though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago. She just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass too. She owed me some new analyze software she'd picked up. Where do you think she went? No idea. One day she was there, the next poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation, since she had mentioned not wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday, but it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them all off so bad. A little odd for her just to disappear, don't you think? Of course it's odd. She owed me a lunch too, and she was the one who paid her debts promptly. You might wanna check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. And even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason to not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her matrix chops. The last big argument was between her, Hip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate street business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. Why did she refuse? She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further, because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. No wonder they were mad. Yeah, you're telling me. I like the old cute, but she was a handful at the best of times. Everybody needs her matrix skills for their business to run properly. There are older deckers, me, say, or Moj Nebi, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hard-head about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot, if you ask me. Sounds like she was critical. Yes and no. She was, but since she disappeared, Elder Ip's taken over running the Matrix infrastructure. He's not as good at it as she was, but his experience with the drones makes him the best candidate. They wouldn't entrust something like that to anyone who wasn't an elder, so there you go. It looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or a bite. Zip recalls, shuddering against the rain. What kind of blade? Was it a knife, a sword, maybe an axe? I don't know, but he was attacked at the back of the neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking wearily about. This whole affair's got me on edge. People dying is nothing new, but the flayed skin. Oh. After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back too. It sounds possible that whoever been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all of the blood and gore business. This is the crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful, this investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. See you later, Zippy. Objective added. Get the key to Magpie's shop. Let's see if there are any guys here to talk to. Yes, there are. Let's talk to Moj Nebi. The man in front of this stall is rooting through a box of music chips with the swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted, atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? They've got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60, the unreleased and a Iron Keys double chip show from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second rate. Hey man, don't get down on Echelon 60. I saw them when they played that unlicensed show at the old Chocotard factory out in Chuanwang. The show was amazing, even if the police had to break it up midway through the second set. The music aficionado waves his hand dismissively. The show might have been great, but come on. Echelon 60's old news. They're already being mainstreamed. I saw a tweet ad for the new Mitsubishi Astro scooter, and they were using main vault underbus and backing music. Made me sad, I tell you. The Decker inclines his head politely toward you. Moj Nebi at your service. Decker, Technologies, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. Not Vampua Garden, no. Mo runs a hand through his hair, shaking the collected rain off it. I thought so. What brings you out here? I'm trying to find out who's been killing the elders. The Decker pauses for a moment, face falling. Oh, that's a nasty business. I heard Tong died tonight. I don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like a real bad scene. I'm trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Is there anything I can do to help? What can you tell me about the Vampoans? We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds and tech junkies. This place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Mo swells with pride and plants both hands firmly on his hips. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you can find in a store. People come from all over the world to buy and sell here and work out deals for big shipments. We've got contacts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea, and every major syndicate and gang in the Free Enterprise Zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased them out. Mo gestures with both hands as if he's shooing away a bothersome insect. Scooted off back to Homan team, and they've never been back. Oh, that sounds dangerous. You must have pissed them off. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed them off, but then we sold goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus kept them off our back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win. You just have to make him step back so the other big guys see he's off balance. Stand-up fights are for the megas. We're about survival, just like everyone else in the shadows. Know anything about the murders? I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important, and all the talk about monsters is just plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get their attention. All I know is that a couple of months ago we had Elders Nakamura, Yenten the Gun and Magpie, and now we don't. I've heard about Magpie. Sounds like she was kind of vicious. To be blunt, she is a hateful, shrewish old badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads with the other elders over damn near anything. The last fight she had was with Tank over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his microdrones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick ass around the block. What was her line of business? Matrix gear. Her shop's called the Jackpoint. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made some killer decks for anybody willing to play her raids. It cost plenty of yuan, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the people around here who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him by the MTR station. He loves the steamed event card over here. What's your area of expertise? I'm a docker. I used to be a company man for years, pushing code on their servers, meaning the little cyber books that would try to get into our secure systems. I made a pretty good living. Had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It was the kind of thing the Sims teach you. Everybody reaches for the dream life. So, what went wrong? I find out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Sure, they paid me well and kept me in creature comforts, but I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports while cleaning out the company data store. Turns out one of the company security riggers had gotten drunk and blabbed about some project or other being over budget and being behind schedule. That's not good, and would be a fireable offense, right? Mo purses his lips, his gaze going distant for a moment. Well, I guess upper management was worried that info would hurt their stock ratings by a fraction of a point or two, so they fired the guy with a .308 round right through the skull. You should have known that's how the corporations handle problems. Well, I sure as hell know it now. You get a wake-up call like that, it will really open your eyes. It may only have been fractions of a point, but that was still tens of millions of yuan. I guess that went beyond a firing offense, directly into murder territory. What's worse, since now I knew about both the projects and the murder, I could be next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down as long as I kept my head down, so I came here looking for a like-minded deckers. I guess I ended up staying because I could get a semblance of community out here, and I couldn't get that many other places. See you later, Mo. Breaker Hui. An imposing troll stands in front of a stall, overflowing with weapons of all sorts. Pistols, rifles, and even brass knuckles overflow into the rack around him. Oh there, you look like a man who understands the value of self-defense. Breaker Hui at your service. And I can promise you I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? Want to take a look? I'm more interested in information. Yeah, tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you out. Know anything about the murders? Just that elders have been getting hacked apart. I've tried to stay away from it all. No sense painting the crosshairs on my own forehead, right? Troll shrugs indefinitely. I'm nobody important, and I aim to keep it that way. What are your impressions of Wampuan elders? Can't say I associate much with them. They organize big trade deals with the Loho Joa pirates, the triads, and legitimate businesses. They tell us if somebody's been blacklisted and dispense justice when someone breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone. And I leave them alone. I'm just not important enough to register on their radar. You know anything about Elder Magpie? Never met her, thank God. She ran with the Deckers, mostly. Since she dealt in chips and software, I heard she was hard to work with. I think the phrase I overheard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know. You should ask Zippy though. He's a sharp one with the deck, so he'd know her better than most. Aside from Tonk, who slings the BTLs around here? Optional objective: investigate the parking garage. Find out what the Red Spear Gangers know. Another objective. The Red Spear Gang, they run up in here sometimes, but don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garage south of here, though they usually have been there. Step light, though, if they don't know you and you cop an attitude, they'll pull you into the ground. Funny thing, I hear there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly, but everybody was talking about it when I got back. Why is that funny? Because we don't let the HKPF in here. Most times we shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us, because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. See you later. Okay, so first let's talk to this guy, Porter, about Magpie. Hi there, need something else? What can you tell me about Elder Magpie? The Vampuan snorts, shrugging his shoulders. That she was a bitch, that I've never met anyone as deliberately contrary as her. There's not much to say, nobody wanted to hang out with Magpie. Even though she was the newest elder, she acted high and mighty around everyone. She'd block deals and argue against Nakamura, and just because she could. Why was she so contrary? It was just her nature. She loved fights and gossips. Any chance to cut somebody else down, she'll take it. I guess I always figured she had some deep-seated insecurities and covered it up by attacking other people. See you later. Let's try to get that key first. New person. Another new person. And another one. Oh, let's go. The 3 first. Wing Kwei Kwok. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Quog Atelier, home of the finest clothing in Wampo Garden. I am the owner, Master Tailor, Wing Kwei Kwok. How may I serve you today? I didn't expect Wampo Garden to have a tailors in it. Many people don't. There's a mistaken impression that we Wampoans are only interested in technology and the metrics. But even technologists need clothing, don't they? And many of us gravitate towards the lines of work where added protections is required. I, myself, am a materialist scientist, as well as a keen follower of fashion trends. What kind of material science? Fiber-related, of course. Primarily aramid fibers, graphene composites and dilettantes. It afforded me a certain unique perspective when designing clothing that is not only beautiful, but defensive as well. I specialize in high-fashion body armor, similar to the kind crafted by Securtech or Washan Island, but with a much more personal touch. Show me what you have. Oh, too expensive. Ballistic cloth with large general linen lined coat. Exit. Goodbye. Let's talk to her. Rainbow. This woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colors scintillating with every passing moment. She is powerful built, a natural athlete, or someone who works out a great deal. Notably, a large shotgun rests on an arcade cabinet next to her. She affords you a short glance as you approach. When she speaks, you know the peculiar lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with here, my friend? You are throwing off me game, and I'm trying to beat my best score. Tank when Europa? I haven't seen one of those cabinets in years. The woman's mouth twists up into a wry grin. Hey, me neither. Managed to find this one near by accident, but I heard the music and thought, hold on there, Rainbow, you know that tune. After a few moments, Rainbow's game is suddenly over, her tank obliterated by a barrage of air-to-ground missiles. She hisses her breath and through clenched teeth. Peace on your ma. A right robbery that was. Right then. Rainbow shakes her head again and turns to face you fully. You don't seem like them ones. They're all a mite touched, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? I'm looking into murders that have been happening. Ah, that's some nasty work. Bodies hacked up, chunks beating out of them. Make sure you're loaded for something big and ugly. That's for certain. Where are you from? I can't place the accent. Born and raised in Dublin, down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of my early life there, working security on sacred spaces. You know, historical sites or undeveloped land. The Green Movement was big in those days, and was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure, didn't it beat some dead-end desk job? Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. I always loved animals, and I found being a ranger put me in close with them. It was a good time, yeah? Making sure the budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. Also kept the nastier bits like the each usage from running amok across populated areas. Each usage, or how it's called. And each usk, isn't that a demon horse? Aye, that's right, they're cannibal horses, basically. Nasty buggers that drag people into box and drown you. Sometimes people call them kelpies, on account of the water plants they pop out of. Anyway, as I was saying, problem was, I started to develop this wee knack. Just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this was around the time Lime O'Connor threw his coup and formed Tiernanog. With all his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic, it was a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just mundane, but also killed magic around her, so I got fired. You're older than Tiernanog? Bang on, I don't look a day over 25, do I? Rainbow flexes one arm, grinning wildly. Aye, I'm Irish, not one of them noggins. Pack of punters, the lot of them, always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that bullshit. I saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their heirs weren't pointy enough, or they didn't meet some stupid arbitrary criteria of old nobility. It was that kind of thing that brought back the IRA, just like the bad old days of the Troubles. The skivers and the new tier didn't pay for the land they took, they just had a pack of bullies with guns. Rainbow scrunches her face up into a disgust sneer and Mox spits at the ground. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes. Simple as that. So, you became a terrorist? Don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now. In exchange for going overseas to work for them, smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe. Same kinda shite and all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how my own farm got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still do work for them these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady Day cracked down on dissidents, but good. What are you doing in Wapua Garden? Me? I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, look for some kind of paracritter I've not seen before, and then I put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones though, no point in hunting a taliscad or such, it's only things like gargoyles, barghest and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year, hunting one of them Indonesian vampires. Whoever heard of them? Call them leak or penanggalangs, depending on who you ask. Their heads and guts come out of the body cavity and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Rainbow bares her teeth and pantomimes floating around. Took me a solid 2 months to track her down, but I did. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the keywords exist. Here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you'd usually find in a city. Been spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. I heard rumors of a rat king down there, where a mess of devil rats get all tied together into some kind of big awful rat beasts. Haven't tracked it down yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? She pats the barrel of her shotgun affectionately. See you later, Rainbow. Okay. Let's talk to this one. And then to Elder again. Min Wong. The owner of this shop barely looks from his PDA while greeting you. His tone is one of them immersed boredom. Welcome to Min Wong Matrix Materials, aka MVMM. What can I get you? Show me what you have for sale. Hmm. Let's buy them. I'll be almost out of money, but let's do that. See you later. Let's talk to Naga. Or to... Is there anything we can do for you, Mamu? Why didn't you tell me about the Elder Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the Wampans is not related to your investigation. It happened before the killings began. I'm certain she's just off skulking somewhere. The tone is profoundly indifferent. No doubt she'll come waltzing back the next month, all fun of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance for all metrics infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. I'd like to take a look around her shop. Do you have the key? Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Mampuans elders in there. Why would you need to look around here? Listen, you wanted me to find the killer. If I'm going to do that, I have to explore every possibility. Charisma option. Objective complete. The key to the Magpie shop. Objective added. Investigate the checkpoint. Got the Magpie's key card. Very well. Take the key and look around. Just don't break anything or shut the servers off. Was there anything else? Why did you let the HKPF into Wampua Garden last month? Tang is taken aback by the question. For a long moment he says nothing. When his composure does return, he speaks deliberately and with great care. We generally don't let the police into Wampua Garden, it's true. But in this case we made an exception. The police were very polite and offered to look the other way over some of our deals with the Loho Joa pirates. They also made it clear that if we refuse, they might not only take an interest in our deals with the pirates, they would call in the Special Duties Unit and force their way in. We have repelled Hong Kong police force before, but when they tried to push us around. We could probably drive off the Special Duties Unit as well, but the cost in blood would be too high. And shrugs around committally. Since they weren't hunting a Wampua, we saw no reason to refuse the request. So what were they doing in Wampua Garden? They didn't say, and we didn't ask. The HKPF isn't exactly forthcoming about their business, and we found that the less we know about their interests, the safer Wampua Garden is. When you take an interest in police, they return the favor. As far as I know, they went into the parking garage. There was a gunfight and the police never came out. More showed up a few hours later, looking for their missing officers. We didn't let those in though. We just delivered what was left of the bodies to them. Why didn't you let them in? We were willing to allow the group of 4 in, because they asked politely. When the reinforcement arrived, there were over 30 of them. We couldn't risk the rest of the police setting up camp in our streets. It would have been a circus and disrupted our lives and business. I'll be going now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more. Quick save and let's talk to the Mergo. This man has tired world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your moments with penetrating critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his eyes perhaps, makes you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy coffee as we approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into beard murders around here. How do you know? You got the right kind of eyes, like you're looking for something and don't seem to trust anyone. Outsiders don't generally wander around Wampua Garden without an escort. Locals don't make them feel too welcome unless they've been invited, and there's only one reason to be inviting Shadowrunners out here. Call me the Mergo. I'm not one of the Wampuans, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. The Mergo drains the last of his soakers in a large gulp. So, what you found so far? You're awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their Thaumaturgical Research Division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation, while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. The Mergo tosses the Soykov cup towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. Seems like you're more cut out for this job than I am. Elder Ang asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money either. The Mergo shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day. You pay a price. It eats you away. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck? Pleading in the voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living. Thanks. Oh, that sounds awful. Awful. That's more than awful. It's a goddamn nightmare, it's what it is. One I couldn't wake up from for a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh, at least I can pick my own jobs. I can read objects, it's called psychometry, a little trick I managed to pick up. I don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it will text your heart. And before you ask, no, I am not going to read anything you find. I already told Enk I didn't want any part of this. You want advice? I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn into further than that. So, aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? What can you tell me about Wampuans? I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a technot as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. The Mergo pauses and looks off into the distance as he collects his thoughts. Ip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. And is a shaman that worships machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum, if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you wanna call the source is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everybody else, they tend to be an okay bunch. A bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own out-of-hub shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality too. People from all over Asia come to shop here if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community. All things considered. what do you know about the murders? They started a couple of weeks ago. Eldragon was the first to go. That's when I asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about it being a clean death. The Mergul lowers his voice, leaning in toward you so that only you can hear. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe a month ago tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but like Wampuans don't usually let the police in here, that by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear too, big guns and heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampuans chased them away. Why would they let cops in and chase them anyway? Chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and that the elders refused to answer when I asked. The Mergo shrugs. Go, take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out though. A gang's taken up a residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them. But be careful what you say. Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. The Mergo arches an eyebrow. That's not what I would have expected. With the amount of Wes at each scene, the victims should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. Then it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have that kind of resonance in my experience. It's possible the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. The Mergo closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah, if I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. The Mergo opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic Investigation 101, and it's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. You think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it. In my experience, it tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. Tong was killed by a bladed weapon, a single strike to the base of his neck. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming. And you can bet your last yuan that whoever killed him is highly skilled with a blade. That says to me that the attack is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. It could be both too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathetic people. The Mergo considers this information for a moment before speaking again. Was the attack thrust or a cut? It was a slash. Why? If the wound was a thrust, your attacker was using a knife or some kind. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust in with at that kind of angle. The neck's too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, you're looking at a sword or cleaver attack. Both of those are very popular with the triads. They make an awful mess and send a message that they're not to be trifled with. See you later. Okay, that was some new information. Let's get back to the breaker. to see his stock. Hello again, how can I help you? Show me what you have. This one is interesting, but nothing. I'm looking for information. Yeah, tell me what you want, maybe I can help you out. See you later. Hello again, anything I can help you? See you later, Mo. Is this the checkpoint? It is. Well, let's talk first with this one guy outside. Then go to the checkpoint and then talk to the elders again and then go to the parking garage. Keita! This dumpy looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various size. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the card reads Keita's One in Yatai. A cacophony of small treat screens are attached to the card, each playing a different treat show. Interest you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman. That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls are your speed? Keita will give you your heart's desire, providing that desire is on my menu. Let me have some dango. Lost 1 yen. Your wish is my command, good sir. Keita deftly pulls one of the dango sticks out of the cart and drops it into the grill. A small robotic arm slides out of the cart and begins turning the stick until the balls of rice flour are toasted brown color. Lifting them from the grill, Keita dips the entire stick into a tub of sticky brown sauce before handing it to you. The snack has both a sweet and salty flavor, reminiscent of sesame seeds and soy. The balls inside are pleasantly warm and surprisingly chewy, a bit like eating raw dough, but without the attendant chalky taste. Keita leans back, studying you intently. The treat projection from his card causes his face to be lit in a constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So, what brings you to Whampoa Garden, my friend? Somehow, I doubt it's just a street food. I'm looking into the killing of the Whampoan elders. Keita shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. I've been hearing a lot about that. I haven't looked too closely though. It's just none of my business, you know? What can you tell me about people here? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, street pirates, and everything in between. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm full fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. And some kind of crazy tech witch. She summons up spirits and casts spells and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems to. She has this mother to everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do, and they thought it was their idea the whole time. Magically, you mean? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Ip's a killer. Addicted to cybernetic implants, he always has to have the newest and freshest gear. The funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. I kinda get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let one of his buddies handle a problem than do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring, and he talks about his all he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge and evolution of machine learning. Like I said, boring. What's with all the treat screens? Keita beams and gestures excitedly at them. You like them? I love treat operas, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian. It doesn't matter. This way I can watch all my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Pirated treat is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds and wrestle them on chip out there. Keita's face falls a bit and his enthusiasm wanes. I wish it could pay the bills, but my food card a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wampoans seems to like sim over treat. They don't know what they are missing, though. One episode of Thousand Cranes of Autumn and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Owen has confessed her love to Takayama. But he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. That sounds like an interesting show, alright. Eyes twinkling, Keita leans forward in breathless excitement. Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes. Chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with the space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of Lagrange 1 spans 5 episodes just by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with their wider public. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to see a treat show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal and spies? I've got to stop myself before I get carried away. Was there something else you needed? Got any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. Keita shrugs indefinitely. I saw the crowd down at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a treat fan. He likes The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. See you later, Keita. So let's visit the checkpoint. Display case. This bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals and add-on modules for cyberdecks. They don't seem to be arranged in any coherent fashion and are spread across the felt surface. Search through the bin. You sift through the display case, searching for anything that might prove interesting. Unfortunately, the jumble of chips and hardware is too esoteric for you to make heads or tails of. Only a top-notch decker would be able to understand the uses of the majority of this stuff. Okay, not enough decking skills probably. Open server. The front of the server's case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. The clipboard is stuck to the side by a piece of duct tape. Its papers filled with a long list of programs and their prices. A quick glance over the program sheet reveals names like Bugs and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly, this was Magpie's attack program storage machine. A solitary red light blinks at the rear of the open server. Upon closer inspection, it looks like a Fuji XB1000 backup drive with its own isolated battery power, probably to safeguard the server's data if the main supply failed. The XB1000 drives are constant write, cheap, with a ton of storage capacity, but if they lose power, they lose all their data. Unfortunately, the isolated ray's battery power has long since run out. Uh-oh. Let's search the bathroom. You search Magpie's bathroom. There's not much in here. A toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, and a collection of cheap makeup. The combination bath shower unit, however, has mineral flakes of a dry reddish substance near the drain. Blood, dried blood. Prying open the drain cover, it looks like quite a bit of it was shed as well. Shit, maybe Magpie didn't take the trip after all. With that amount of blood, I'm guessing someone killed her quietly and then drained her body in the bath. I'd make it cleaner to relocate. This doesn't seem to match the killer's other scenes though. I'm thinking there's a lot more going on with these murders than we were initially told. First, they don't ever mention Magpie to us, and now it looks like she's been killed. Something cannot right here, Memo. Let's not mention this to the elders. If they're hiding anything, they might start cleaning up their tracks better. Okay. Let's check the desk. Magpie's desk is the kind of messy most people only associate with rat's nest holders and daggers. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarettes, butts, half-finished cans of soy calf, and scrap of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it. Their sides are blazoned with honest Wang instant old-time Lamian, and depicts a line of top hat wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Hey, awesome. I didn't think anybody but me liked honest Wang's noodles. Flavor like you would never tasted in a package of instant noodles, I promise. Gobet taps the side of one container. See? This one's cheesy curry broccoli. I don't know why it's never caught on, honestly. Duncan shoots with a sidelong glance, numbling sotto Gee, who could pass up the delicious taste of cheese, curry, and freeze-dried vegetables? Gobet seems oblivious to Duncan's sarcasm. I know, right? People out there have no idea what kind of culinary delights they're missing. Search the desk. You gingerly root around a desk, doing your best to avoid the more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk drawers are stuffed to overflowing with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips and cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin logbook catches your eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where a lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves for storing keycards, all of which are empty. A small note is tapped into the interior of the box. Spare stockroom keys. The door is in the rear of Mrs. Young's restaurant. Do not lose these. Use only if I am not available to open the stockroom. Ah, the plot thickens. As secret logbooks, the latch at locked on out, and all the keys to Magpie's treasure trove missing. Who do you suppose stole them? Probably whoever cleaned out Magpie's equipment. That would make sense. The culprit would have been in a hurry. If these vampires are as tech-savvy as they seem, a cheap maglog wouldn't present much difficulty for them, and anyone looking to loot Magpie's shop wouldn't want to pass up her stockroom, and would be full of even more valuable gear. Leave the desk alone. Investigate the checkpoint. Objective identified a key to Magpie's stockroom. Leave the bin alone. And let's check this again. let's talk to the guy who knows her best, Zippy. Hey again, how can I help you? See you later. Nope. Hey there, need something else? Let's check the sensor chamber. Tongue sail still hangs open, the green unlocked legs blink softly on the side panel. The SimSynth continues to flash a warning message. Requested files cannot be found. Please write on drives to bay and try again. Let's check the body, just in case. Leave the body alone. Okay. So let's talk to the two up there and then talk to detective. My biggest suspect would be at the moment the Irish lady. See you later, Mo. I'm looking for information. See you later. So let's talk to the cop and then go inside here. See you later, Keita. See you later. The man gotten himself a new cup of soy cup. He must run on that stuff. As you approach, he lifts it in salute. Hey again, any new development you need my help with? Nope. So let's go to the parking garage. Red Spearganger. That's far enough, guy. The woman hefts her weapon, tossing a nod toward the gangers behind her. This lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade. If you're not here for business, clear the hell out. You try and wander around on our turf, we're got have to air you out. So, what do you say? You're looking for a little pick-me-up? A little nitro to give you some pep? Maybe you want some chips? Take the edge off. You want it? I got it. What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking for somebody. They got in here, all of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone by the time we showed up. Used to be a lot of Wampuans living here. They all cleared out, muttering Allah about the ghost and shit like that. Have you heard anything else about the murders? Get a key from the storm days. Find out what the Reds gangers know. Nothing much. I tell you what though. I got a guy named Kang, and he has down in the Storm Dream system last week. Something was moving down there, big, too, man-sized. But it wasn't speaking any language. Kang understood. Kit beat feet back here as fast as he could. Dumbass dropped his storm drain key on the way out though. You wanna go looking for whatever it was. You'll have to get a new key from somebody else. Kang stole his from a city worker. Who else might have a key to the storm drains? There's a guy named Porter Lam who's got keys to pretty much everything. He's somewhere between a cop and a handyman. Yuan also mentioned some elf woman with crazy gold hair who managed to scam a key. He said she hunted paracritters down there, devil rats and shit. Can I look around this garage? Man, are you deaf? What the hell did I tell you? No, you gone well can't wander around our turf. The ganger shakes her head, mumbling something about idiots with no memory. Never mind. Show me what you have. Oh, show me what you have. Some of these BTLs you're selling look an awful lot like they came from Tong's shop. Yeah, so what? Why do you care? So, if you stole these from Tongs, maybe you saw something I can use in my investigation? Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's like this. Broken Toby Yuan was walking down the street and sees this guy go into Tong's joint right at closing time. Tall guy, hunched over, had this shitty grey rain poncho draped over him. Now, Yuan figured that was weird as hell, so he posed up and waits. He figures the girl come out soon, cause Tong's closing up shop. Nothing for 15 whole minutes. Guy comes out, hustles down the street with nobody saying boo. I figure he was waiting for an app in the crowds. Yuan sees some blood smearing on the door, though, so he goes to check it out. Inside, total carnage, but you know what? Tong's not gonna be using his gear anymore, so to hell with it. Yuan jacks the lot of it. Business is business. You're damn right it is. That's all I know. The guy had to be the killer. Tall, grey rain poncho, hunched over. Also smart about how he came and went. Can I look around this garage? Never mind. See you later. Bloody drain and bloody stems, and I can't go there. I will probably not be able to finish this one. Let's talk to Rainbow then. But first to the policeman again. See you later. Hey, good to see you again. Something else I can help you with? Do you have a key to storm drains? Of course I do. How else would I get down to look for strange creepy crawlies, eh? Why do you ask? Can I borrow it? I want to investigate something down there. Get the Kim from the storm drains. Objective complete. Objective added. Search the Wampa Garden storm drains. Hey, sure. Watch your step down there, though. The drains are made bigger than people normally expect. Rainbow tosses to decay. Best of luck. See you later, Rainbow. Is there anything we can do for you, Mamu? I'll be going now. Goodbye. And just in case, talk to this last one. See you later. And let's talk to Parker Lam as well. Maybe he has the checkpoint key. Hey there, need something else? See you later. Nope, he doesn't. See you later. Just in case. I'm looking for information, but see you later. See you later, Mo. Well, maybe that now I have the key I can get... Oh, here are stone drains. See you later. So let's go to the storm drains. Okay, as you round the corner, you hear voices speaking just loudly enough for you to make out coherent sentences. The speakers are definitely not local. They speak with a slight Slavic accent, and their clothing is heavily armored. Around them are a number of crates and boxes, all mostly filled. It looks like the group is packing up. Yaroslav says the boat will be ready tomorrow morning. He's gotten everything arranged with the port authority. We move the goods to his warehouse. He'll handle loading them onto the ship, and we can get paid right then and there. The orc spits on the ground. I'd be glad to be done with this filthy place. I will too. I hate having to hide in these damn drains. It stinks down there, down here. I can hear the devil's rats running down the walkways. It's a mess, and it's a disgraceful. We shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. And Alexander still isn't back from his little trip. We'll have to leave him behind if he doesn't get back soon. I know, Galina. Until Andrei says we're in the clear from the triads. We can't be seen with the goods on the streets. They find us. We go back to Vladivostok in sausage casings. Those Red Dragon Mudeki don't screw around when it comes to protecting their turf. Who knows, maybe Alexander was stupid and they caught him. Either way, we'll have to lug this crap through the drains for a few clicks. The orc woman sniffs the air suspiciously, and her eyes dart toward the dark tunnel you stand in. Before you have a chance to get out of sight, she locks eyes with you. The orc lifts her chin and she regards you, cracking her knuckles. What have we here? A curious little pest come looking for things that don't concern him. What do we do with pest, Galina? Galina puts a hand on her shotgun's barrel. We break them, Vasilisa, and then we hammer a spike through each of their throats, so anyone who sees their bodies knows not to meddle in our affairs. I suggest you stay where you are, pest. The Vampuan elders known I'm down here. You start a fight, you're going to have every drone and cyber junkie on those streets crawling up your ass. Some of the cockiness goes off the Russian woman's eyes. She shifts back and forth nervously, shooting a glance at the orc. Finally, she lifts her shotgun, sighting along the barrel. You think we're afraid of those little worms? You think we're afraid of you? Don't make me laugh. We could be out of here before they ever realized you're missing. You think those crazy chipheads will give a shit about what happened down here? I don't think so. Duncan sneers at them, spitting on the ground. Mega shithead, give me a reason to put you down. You thugs think you're so hard. I kill trash like you every damn day. I don't care what you're going down here or what you're stolen. I just want to find the person murdering the Vampuan's elders. You think I give a shit about what you're doing down here? None of that concerns me, so why the hell should we let you live? Look around you. These storm dreams act like resonant chambers. The exits on the streets will be like the mouth of a trumpet. They'll care if they hear gunfire on their turf. Galina laughs. You think I'm stupid? You think you can fast talk me with some stupid? He's right, Galina. You know how sounds can echo through these tunnels. Shit. Galina lowers the shotgun, though her posture remains wary. You don't care about what we're doing. I have a job to do. This is incidental. So, what do you want from us then? You took the Magpie's cake cards, didn't you? Find the key to Magpie's stockroom, objective complete, and search Magpie's stockroom. And objective complete, search the Vampire Garden storm drains. Yes, we did. Alexander took one earlier. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom. See if there was anything worth stealing in it. Vasilisa tosses you a key card. We don't have time to wait for him. If you see him, tell him to catch the hell up. Just save it. Okay, just in case to save it. Let's see this first. Here are some body parts. The disgusting pile of stinking human remains smells strongly of blood and the first stages of decay. The arms, legs and organs here are heaped together like stacked firewood, leaking blood and gore across the floor. The parts contained therein appear to have been sliced away from the parent body rather than torn or bitten. Judging by the clean edges on the cuts, the blade used to sever these parts was extremely sharp. I've seen plenty of disgusting stuff in my day, but this takes the cake. Look at it. Somebody stacked these parts up like they were making a little larder or something. Hello, serial killer. You got that right, Jesus. Looking closer at the pile, one part stands out, the severed forearm, and it's covered in tattoos, words in Slavic language and shining lighthouse on the forearm, and the ring-like images are inked on each finger. On the back of the hand, there's a skull inside a square. This arm belonged to a war. These are criminal tattoos. The lighthouse shows he tried to escape from prison or planned to. The words say, all police are dogs. That skull inside a square means he served a prison term for robbery once. What's a war? A war is a thief. The Vory w Zakonie is the name of the organization. Thieves in law. They have strict codes and police their own, but they don't sever arms and leave them in pile of gore. Might that be the Alexander? Let's check the storm drain. Despite the darkness, you see something glitter at the edge of the drain. Looking closer, it appears to be a necklace chain of some kind. It's become caught in the drain's grate, narrowly avoiding falling down the deep pit. Take the necklace. Silver necklace, mission item. Lifting the necklace out of the drain, you turn it over in your hand. It's a simple silver pendant on a chain. The silver pendant depicts a long-tailed bird in flight, a magpie. So I have found probably a piece of magpie. Let's talk to Vasilisa one more time. Vasilisa grunts by way of greeting. You again? What now? I found Alexander. He is dead. Well, not yet. Is there anything you can tell me about the murders that I might not know? You think we get out a lot? I wouldn't have even known there were murders if I hadn't bothered to come out to get some soykav last week. It's none of our business and isn't our problem, and I like it this way. I found Alexander. He is dead. What? How did he die? He stumbled on someone he shouldn't have. Suka. She sighs heavily. I don't have time to deal with this right now, but thank you for telling me anyway. You took Magpie's keycard, didn't you? Yes, we did. Alexander took one early. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom, see if there was anything worth stealing in it. Well, Vasily said to see a keycard, so this is a loop one. Here, we don't have time for this. We have to move this gear. You want to play detective? Go right ahead. Vasilisa grunts by way of greeting. You again? What now? See you later. Let's go up here. Another storm drain. Here is Magpie's stockroom. Food and mementos. Despite the table-screwed construction, an artfully laid meal awaits the owner. Several small dishes are filled with pickled vegetables, while a larger plate is arranged with long slices of raw meat. The meat is a pale pinkish white, like raw pork, discovered in a light soy marinade. Working at the raw meat, you discover that it's surprisingly tender. What's more, that it has the faint aroma of marinade, as if deliberately prepared. Leave the meat alone. Mementos. This box is packed full of odds and ends. It nearly overflows with a collection of knickknacks, souvenirs, and assorted personal effects. There is no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Among the contents are charms from various temples, a wooden mask, and a paper fan. Examine the mask. The wooden mask is extremely light. It's been painted a pale white, and the surface is almost as smooth as porcelain. Delicate feature and lifted eyebrows are matched with bright red lips and delicate carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black. Examine the charms. The small charms are square cloth packets, each approximately 1 inch wide and 3 inches tall. They come in a variety of bright colors and are embroidered with characters for prosperity, peace, wealth, and protection. Inside each appears to be a folded paper prayer or fortune written in Japanese. Examine the paper fan. Unfolding the fan, you tilt it up toward the light to examine it. The image depicts an East Asian city from the 19th century or earlier. Curved roofs at sunset, besides a deep blue river. 2 ships sail down the river, which is in turn spanned by a long wooden bridge. In the foreground, laborers carry buckets along the shore as a man on horseback rides in the opposite direction. In the distance, a pair of large red buildings dominate the city skyline. 1 large temple hall and 5-tiered pagoda. Leave the box alone. As you step away from the box, you hear a slight click in the distance, the sound of the door's latch shutting. You are no longer alone in the stockroom. Objective: search for the killer in Wampo Garden and search Magpie's stockroom. Standing before you is a man clad in heavy armor and bearing a katana on his hip. His skin is an ashen grey, his eyes dead white, his teeth are jagged and appear quite sharp. This is no man. This is a ghoul. The ghoul's blind eyes surge back and forth as it regards you. It cannot see you, but you have a sense that it knows exactly where you are at all times. Ah, a hired gun, no doubt brought to bear against me by the Wampuan elders, a means by which they can lift the curse plaguing them. I salute your tenacity, but I wonder, will you hear me out before raising your weapon to kill me? You don't seem interested in eating me. Yes, I am not only talking, I am reasoning as well. And since you have not attempted to kill me, your own higher faculties are engaged. I am a curiosity to you. The ghoul bares his teeth, breath rasping over them as he inhales. You wish to know not only what I am, but I have done. As for who? You may call me Gaichu. I know who you are. You're the one killing the Wampuan elders. You are correct. I have killed all of the Wampuan elders to date. I thought only Elder Magpie was according to my initial plan. I regret the deaths of the other elders, but it was necessary. Explain yourself. This affair began simply enough. As you may surmise, I am not someone who can be seen in a public without great risk. Whampoa Garden is an excellent place to hide, no police or triad presence, and minimal interest in things that lurks in the shadows. Unfortunately for me, Elder discarded me through communion with her spirits. Rather than kill or chase me away, she came to me with a proposition. And the other elders were having problems with one of their numbers. An elder named Magpie had been holding many of their plans hostage and would not budge. They could not remove Magpie, however, because her services were too useful to the Wampoans at large, and offered me a payment to dispose of Magpie, and I accepted. Wu shoots you a sidelong glance, tusks bared as he grits his jaw. Why the hell are we talking to this thing, Memu? It's a goddamn girl, and you know what they're like. Really? What, pray tell, am I like? All teeth and claws and bad manners, I expect? Gage Stone is amused, despite the harshness of his rasping voice. Really? You wanna crack jokes, you cannibal? Wu takes an involuntary step forward, raising his rifle. You're the kind of monster that devour a family just because it's convenient. Remember the 162s, Memo? He's just like them. The 162s were a gang, Wu, in the Barrens. Like, that makes a bit of difference. Go on then, talk to the monster, but I'm keeping my finger on the goddamn trigger. I believe that we were speaking of the Elder's plans to have me kill Magpie, surely. You must be a little curious about that. You didn't clean up all of her blood. I found some in her drain. Ah, unfortunate that I had thought I was careful enough. Having it on my hands must have obscured my sense of smell enough that I missed the last remnants in the drain. I disposed of Magpie's body by emptying the blood in her bathroom. Then I cut her into more portable pieces. Those were placed in a plastic tarp, which I took to the storm drains and hid. Gaicho nonchalantly waves a hand, his tone flat and unconcerned. It's unfortunate, but my survival depends upon consumption of raw metahuman flesh. Letting such nourishment go to waste would be a foolish error. But why kill the other elders then? I contacted the elders, not in person of course, and they arranged to exchange payment. I assumed that since the job was done, Enk would be a woman of her word. Baring his teeth, Gaicho hisses his next words across clenched teeth. I was mistaken. I arrived at the nearby parking garage the elders had told me about. They cleared out the other Wampoans under some pretense, though I am not sure what ruse they used. The elders never showed up. Instead, several members of Hong Kong police arrived. They were more heavily armed than usual, so I suspect they knew something of my nature. I heard about the fight. You expect me to believe you took on a police squad and won? Of course. I have survived as a girl for some years now, on the streets of Hong Kong. If that isn't evidence enough of my tenacity, I doubt any words I could say to you will change your mind. A betrayal of that sort cannot stand. Not only was I not paid for my time and effort, the Wampoan elders treated me like a common animal, and I'm so much more than that. Reputation is everything, and I had none. I had hoped to build a network of contacts so that I would be able to continue finding work. But with that treachery, my hopes were dashed. I decided to become the monster that they feared. One by one, I have eliminated them. They know how to contact me, and could have ended their nightmare at any time by making amends. I would have asked for more money, but I would have seized my hand. Yet they did not. Instead, they contacted you, no doubt asking you to eliminate me while the police had failed. So, I ask you, what now? What will you do? Will you attempt to finish what the vampire started? Or will you treat me with the same humanity I have shown to you? Let me ask you some questions. Very well. What should you like to know? Did you eat the elders? Some of them, not all. My condition requires that I consume raw metahuman flesh. I do not require a great deal to survive, perhaps 3 to 4 pounds per week. Consequently, there is a vastly more supply than demand. Why would the elders have you killed instead of paying you? Any numbers of reasons. They are notorious cheapskates and will always try to save money when dealing with outsiders. It could be their natural inclination toward profit. They may regard me as a superhuman and therefore unworthy of respect. I could be that they felt I was too dangerous to allow to live. It could even be that they simply did not like me. The net result is the same. However, they reneged on a deal with we broke it. The net result is the same, however, they reneged on a deal we brokered and attempted to have me killed. A message must be sent. Blood must be paid. As they have hired you to kill me, they have obviously not learned their lesson. If I let you live, what will you do? Kill the rest of the elders and anyone else they sent to exterminate me. It's a matter of survival. Should I ever have the opportunity to form freelance again, potential employers need to understand the price of betrayal. These murders are my curriculum vitae in revenge. I've made my decision. Oh, what then? Will you do? How will this story end? Come and work with me. I can be your face. A curious offer. And what of the elders? Will you admit the satisfaction of killing them? I want to see what they have to say first. Confront the Vampuan elders. Objective. I would counsel you not to believe their words, but you have the sound of one who is wary as a matter of course. Very well. Let us wait until a bit later in the night. Most pedestrians will be off the street, and it will be easier for us to approach the Vampua without being noticed. Sounds like a good plan. Okay, looks like so the only option where to go is to the Vampua. Okay, let's go there. Let's come from here. As you approach, Eldernk, eyes widen, her mouth falls open and the veins on her neck bulge. What are you doing? You brought this thing into our home. Quick, kill it before it kills us. Porter has his pistol ready, but does not aim at anyone. Yeah, I have to say, this isn't a good idea. Why the hell is a girl in here? And why it is wearing armor? Calm yourselves. I am not an it, and your elders know this intimately. Gaichu bares his teeth and Rictus grin as he turns to face Ankh. Good evening, Elder Ankh. I can smell your fear, and I'm glad of this. It means you are learning the price of betrayal. Whoa, what the hell is going on here? Can someone explain to me why the girl is talking? The elders have been lying to the rest of the Vampuans. We would never lie to the Vampuans. Our role is to protect this community, not lie to it. What proof do you have to back up your claims? Porter nods at the elders, looking back to you with a wary expression. I'm interested to hear what kind of evidence you have to support this theory, Memo. As far as I can tell, this monster killed Tonka and the others, and that makes him a threat that should be eliminated. They died because they betrayed Gaichu rather than paid him for the killings of Elder Magpie. You believe this vermin? This creature that feasts on metahuman flesh, that kills and dismembers our tribesmen? You are a naive and foolish man, if that's in the case. Ankh spits on the ground in front of Gaichu. What proof do you have that Magpie is dead? Ankh, please. In matter where an elder is accused of breaking our law, the other elders generally judge them. In matters where all of them have been accused, I am authorized to act as a judge. Make your case, Shadowrunner. There was a large amount of blood in her Shadowrun. Or no, I have found Magpie's necklace in the storm drains. Porter takes a moment to examine the necklace. He nods at you. This is definitely Elder Magpie's. If you found it in the storm drain, that's suspicious, but hardly proved on its own. Of course, it's not proof. The number of things lost down storm drains in Hong Kong must number in the tens of thousands per year. While unusual, it's hardly evidence of foul play. There was a large amount of blood in her shower drain. So what? Perhaps she cut herself and washed the cut off. Or perhaps you are mistaken about it being blood. You're simply guessing as to what happened. That's true, it's a guess, and even if it is her blood, that doesn't prove that the elders hired this girl to kill her. Porter gives the Elder Ip a sidelong glance. The elders have always protected Whampoa Garden to the best of their ability. She hasn't been seen in a month, not by anyone. She wouldn't just disappear like that. That may be unlikely, but it's hardly impossible. You haven't established that the elders were involved, and all you've done is make suppositions about it. What proof do you have that we hired and betrayed this creature? I won't sit by and listen to idle accusation without any kind of concrete evidence to back it up. What about the fight with the Hong Kong police force? What do you mean? What does that have to do with the elders and the girl? You Wampuans don't allow police inside the area. Why make an exception this time? The police were polite and asked our permission to enter. They were hunting a non-Wampuan. That was reason enough for us to allow them in. Porter considers this for a moment and then shakes his head. That doesn't add up. Ankh, why would the police ask us for entry now? They've never been polite before, and they always tried to force their way in here. It just doesn't ring true to me. Did you ask them to come, in order to hunt down this girl? Preposterous, Porter. You know what our community is like. We wouldn't lie over something like this. This girl has been lying the entire time, trying to cover his tracks. he still brutally murdered several elders. That's true, those murders were vicious and cruel. Porter fixes you with a hard stare. I don't see any way to explain that away. This girl is a monster for how he killed Tong and the others. Tong wasn't tortured. There was no astral residue of pain or fear. He didn't even feel the blow. That's correct. I struck a single blow while his back was to me. His death was instant. Regrettable that he had to die for you, Folly Ang, but necessary to protect my reputation. Ang glares at Gaichu in stony silence before addressing Porter. You cannot believe what these people say. They are not to be trusted, and even if this is true, he still killed Tong. Porter looks back at Ang. This expression flat and without emotion may be sewing, but the monster would not take Tong's suffering into account. He may be killer, but he's not heartless. Tong's body was a mess, true, but he died quickly from a sword blow to the neck. I struck Tong down with a single blow from my sword. The mess made of the body was to send the elders a message, but I had no desire to make Tong suffer. At any time, Ang and the other elders could have made amends, and the killings would have ended. Instead, they hired a Shadowrunner to kill me. It's not about cruelty, it's about sending a message. That's not what I would have expected, looking at the body. You killed him before you dismembered him? That's right, and I killed the other elders in a similar fashion. There was no cause to prolong their suffering. The message was for the living elders, not the dead. If the elders wished to treat me like a monster, I would terrorize them like one until they paid reparations for their mistake. Come on, you can't possibly believe this crazy story. It's absolutely insane. The scene of Tong's murder, like the others, was a deliberate sham. It was made to look more horrific than it was. I believe you. The blood smeared on the walls to the removal of the skin, that's a scene designed to evoke horror, not the scene of an actual fight. Elders, what do you have to say in response? This is a farce. We have dedicated ourselves to protecting the Wampuan tribe and everyone who lives in Wampuan Garden. Do you really believe outsiders and monsters over our world? We, who have only tried to end the killings? You've been duped, Porter. You and this Shadowrunner. I conquer. Porter, you know me. You know the kind of person I am. I wouldn't be party of the killing of another elder. I can't believe we're even entertaining the notion that we have to defend ourselves. We should be disposing of this girl instead. Tang narrows his eyes at you, hissing. If you think I'll forget this, you're sorely mistaken. I will not tolerate this kind of insult. The elders were all too happy to have the Red Spears move into garage, almost like they wanted to keep anyone curious about the fight away. That's right, Ip. You even told me not to go find out what happened with the fight. You said the Red Spears gangers were moving in and to leave them alone. Why would you tell me not to look into it? I was only trying to protect you from the Red Spears. They're dangerous, which is why I wanted to deal with them directly. Magpie's gear was missing, obviously missing. Why didn't Ip tell me that? He would have had to have noticed, and Magpie's shop is locked up. Why didn't he want me investigating? Pure proposition. You think it proves something that I didn't notice? Equipment was missing. Magpie's shop is always a horrible mess. Tang, you did a full inventory on Magpie's metrics servers. You assured us everything was running fine and you would be able to continue her work. I find it hard to believe you missed something as obvious as missing equipment, especially while searching her stock. That's all I've got. Alright, I think I have some idea of what's going on here. And what do you believe the real story is? Gaicho seems to be telling the truth. Elders to many facts don't add up. You are obviously hiding something, possibly a great deal, from the rest of the tribe. I am sorry, but I have to take you into custody until the community can decide the extent of and the manner of your punishment. That would seem appropriate to me, especially given that they kept up this charade even to you, one of their most trusted dissidents. Don't you dare talk to me like that, you disgusting beast. Ip begins to raise his weapon. Porter reaches out to stop him. Ip reluctantly stops. Ip, no. Don't make this any worse than it is. Porter turns to face you. Thank you, Memo. I'll make certain that justice is meted out. You are free to go, and I will ensure payment is delivered to you, so long as you take Gaichi with you. I can have him staying here. He'll be coming with me. Confront the 1.1 elders and return to Haoi. New objective. I didn't investigate the garage, unfortunately, because I had not good skills enough for the red or scarlet scorpions, or what was that? Okay. As we exit the 1.2 to the sweltering night air of the Colon streets, Gaichi turns to face you. I confess I'm unhappy with the decision to allow the 1.1 elders to live. We should have killed them, for no other reason than to maintain our reputation. That's why I let them live. That's not how we do things. Gage bows to you. I had health very low. I can accept this. I am unused to working with Shadowrunners, and assumed you would see things as I do. Hopefully there is much I can learn from you. Shall we leave this place? I am eager to be done with Whampoa Garden. 2 more karma gained. Let's check. I think I take this one. And this one later. Okay, let's take up one more cyberware affinity. Yes. Let's see if anything has been unlocked during the evening. Nope. Let's check the Magpie stockroom if anything has happened there or not. Probably not, but that's just my OCD. Okay, we can go back to Hawaii. Oh. Objective complete. Return to Hawaii. You are about to leave this location and return to Hawaii. Continue. Confirm. And that was the 6th part of my Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition blind playthrough. Thanks a lot for being here with me the whole time, and I hope to see you soon. If you enjoyed this playthrough, feel free to follow me on Twitch and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.